Let me start with a question that honestly might hurt a little. Why is it that some people become rich almost by accident, while others work themselves into an early back surgery and stay broke anyway? Think about it. There are people who seriously couldn't pass a basic algebra test, yet they somehow own 3 properties, drive a car with heated seats and a massage, and spend weekdays golfing like they're allergic to real work. Well, my goal for today is getting everyone watching to understand the exact system rich people follow without even thinking about it. The complete blueprint to getting rich. But wait, here's the twist. Getting rich is not about luck, talent, or being born with a trust fund. It's about following a blueprint, a sequence, a series of steps that quietly determine whether you rise or whether you stay stuck. So without wasting any time, let's jump right in. 'Cause step number 1, it's going to punch you in the ego a little, so stay with me. Step 1, admit you don't know money, the humility reset. So first of all, let's start with the real reason most people never get rich. They refuse to admit they don't understand money. And don't worry, I'll explain exactly why. They think money management means checking their bank balance after buying groceries. They think investing means buying whatever stock their cousin posted about on Instagram. They think building wealth means saving the extra $20 their paycheck accidentally rounded up. Meanwhile, every rich person knows one uncomfortable truth. Being broke isn't a moral failure. It's an informational failure. Money is a language, and most people are basically trying to get rich while reading the financial alphabet backwards. Here's the uncomfortable part. The second you assume you already know enough, you lock yourself into the same level of wealth you currently have. Forever. Rich people constantly study money because they know the rules keep changing. Broke people stop learning because they think they already get it. If you're serious about getting rich, start here. Drop the ego. Become a student again. Learn taxes. Learn debt. Learn assets. Learn cash flow. Learn compounding. Not all at once, but step by step. Because nothing is more expensive than the things you don't know. All right, now that we've humbled ourselves a bit, let's get into the part that flips your entire financial identity. If step 1 resets your mindset, step 2 builds the foundation your entire wealth depends on. Step 2, turn your income into a system, not a hope and prayer. Let me ask you something bold. What happens to your money the moment your paycheck hits your bank account? If your answer is, I just kind of spend it until it's gone, congratulations. You're operating like 90% of the population. And that is exactly why most people will work 40 to 50 years and retire with knee pain and regret. Rich people treat their money like it's running through a factory. Everything has a job. Everything has a purpose. Everything goes somewhere intentionally. They don't hope they save. They don't try to budget. They build a financial system that makes sure the money flows where it's supposed to. Here is the simplest version of the rich person money system. Pay yourself first. Before bills, before fun, before anything. Automated. Because your willpower disappears faster than snacks at an office potluck. Split your money by design, not by vibes. Turn your income into a machine, not a mystery. Most people have income chaos. Rich people have income choreography. But here's where it gets spicy. It doesn't matter how perfectly you organize your money if your income itself is stuck at barely enough. Because the truth is, you cannot save your way to wealth, but you can use savings to buy the things that make you wealthy, which leads us straight into step 3. And this is where the blueprint goes from, oh, that's smart, to, oh, that changes everything. Step 3, choose the right wealth vehicle, the one that fits you. Here, I'll just be brutally honest with you. Most people struggle financially not because they're lazy, but because they picked the wrong wealth vehicle. Think about it like this. Trying to become wealthy with just a 9-to-5 is like trying to win the Indy 500 on a bicycle. You can pedal as hard as you want. You're still not winning that race. Every rich person has one core thing in common. They chose a vehicle that multiplies money. Not earns it, multiplies it. Here are the 4 common wealth vehicles. 1. Business, fastest but riskiest. You control everything. High upside, high stress. Great for people who love solving problems and have an itch to build. 2. Real estate, slower but stable. Cash flow plus appreciation plus tax advantages equals a wealth cheat code. Great for patient people who like predictable long-term growth. 3. Investing, stocks, index funds. Compounding does most of the heavy lifting. perfect for people who can stay consistent and not panic when the market sneezes. 4. High income skills, the bridge. Coding, sales, design, marketing, copywriting, etc. Boost your earning power so you can funnel more into the other 3. The mistake people make? They choose a vehicle that doesn't match their personality, then blame themselves when it doesn't work. If you're impatient, real estate will feel like watching grass grow. If you hate people, don't get into sales. If you panic easily, day trading will give you heart palpitations by Tuesday. The rich aren't rich because they picked the best vehicle. They're rich because they picked the right vehicle, then stayed in it long enough to win. But before we continue, when you finish watching this video, go back and watch our Financial Freedom playlist. If you only watch this video and try to apply it alone, you might run into some problems. That's why you need to watch the entire playlist to fully understand how. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and consider becoming a member to always stay updated. Now, speaking of winning, the next step is the turning point most people never reach, because step 4 is where you officially start creating the gap that makes getting rich possible. And trust me, this is where everything starts speeding up. Step 4, create the wealth gap, the space where riches are born. And oh yeah, here's something wild. You don't get rich from how much you make. You get rich from the gap between what you make and what you keep. And no, I'm not talking about stop buying Starbucks or cancel Netflix. Relax. You can keep your frothy caramel sugar in a cup. I'm talking about the real wealth gap, the intentional space between your income and your lifestyle. Most people do the financial equivalent of eating everything on the plate and licking the spoon. Make more? Spend more? Get a raise? Upgrade lifestyle? New job, new phone, new wardrobe, new everything. But rich people, they operate differently. When their income goes up, their lifestyle barely moves. That's the wealth gap. That's the seed. That's where the compounding magic comes from. Here's why this matters. If every dollar you earn is already promised to bills, subscriptions, and impulse purchases, you have zero capacity to invest. And if you can't invest, you can't get rich. Simple, brutal, mathematical. So what's the fix? Not budgeting, not depriving yourself, not living like a monk who eats air sandwiches. You create a wealth gap by doing only 2 things: increase income, freeze lifestyle creep. Not forever, just long enough to create momentum. Once you've got that gap, your money becomes a tool, a soldier, a little employee you can deploy. And speaking of deploying money, that brings us straight into step 5, which is where the blueprint gets aggressive. Because now that you've created the wealth gap, it's time to put those dollars to work, like they owe you rent. Step 5, deploy your money into assets, your silent workforce. Guess what? Here's the part nobody tells you. Rich people don't get rich by working harder. They get rich by making their money work harder. Most people treat their money like a roommate. It helps sometimes, but it mostly just sits there doing nothing. No, your money should behave like a full-time employee. Actually, scratch that. Like a full-time employee who works 24/7, never sleeps, never complains, and never takes PTO. That's what assets do. Assets equals things that put money into your pocket without you clocking in. Here are your top-tier asset classes. Stocks and index funds, slow, steady, compounding monsters. Real estate, cash flow plus appreciation plus tax benefits. Online businesses, scalable, low cost, ridiculously underrated. Dividend-paying investments, money that literally pays you to exist. Digital assets and intellectual property, courses, ebooks, templates, licensing. Quiet cash machines. When you deploy money into assets, something magical happens. You stop being the engine, and your money becomes the engine. You're not trying to save for retirement. You're building a machine that manufactures freedom. But here's where most people sabotage everything. They buy assets, then sell them when life gets uncomfortable. Rich people, they treat assets like sacred artifacts. They don't sell, they stack. They become asset hoarders. And that leads us to step 6, the brutal truth that explains why rich people stay rich and everyone else stays hustling. Because assets don't make you wealthy if you keep interrupting the process. And step 6 is where most people accidentally destroy decades of potential wealth. Step 6, master the money psychology because wealth is a head game. Now listen closely because I want to say something a little uncomfortable. You don't have a money problem. You have a psychology problem. And so does almost everyone. If wealth was purely logical, everyone would be rich, because logically, saving is good, investing is good, compounding works, debt sucks, spending mindlessly is dumb. So why do most people do the exact opposite? Because money isn't logical. Money is emotional. Money is behavior. Here are the psychological traps that kill wealth: impulse spending, tiny dopamine shots that drain your future, lifestyle comparison, keeping up with people who are secretly broke, fear of investing. What if the market crashes? Impatience, quitting before compounding even kicks in. Avoidance, not checking accounts because it feels stressful. The rich don't have better money. They have better emotional control around money. They know wealth comes from delayed gratification, discipline, consistency, long-term thinking, emotional neutrality. That's what lets them stay invested when the market dips. That's what lets them avoid dumb purchases when their income rises. That's what lets them build multi-million-dollar portfolios without trying to get rich quick. Your money follows your emotions. Fix the emotions. The money obeys. And this psychological shift unlocks step 7, the moment where the rich get richer without lifting a finger. Because step 6 fixes your brain, but step 7 fixes your future. And this is the step that transforms "I'm slowly building wealth" into "my money is growing faster than I can spend it." Step 7. Let compounding take over, the most powerful force on earth. Albert Einstein allegedly called compounding the 8th wonder of the world. Whether he actually said it or not, it doesn't matter, because it's true. Compounding is basically small money plus enough time plus consistency equals life-changing wealth. But here's the problem. Nobody gives it enough time. Nobody stays consistent. Nobody is patient. Imagine planting a tree, then digging it up every month to check the roots. That's how most people treat investing. But rich people, they understand the game. They know. Year 1 to 3, boring. Year 4 to 7, interesting. Year 8 to 12, exciting. Year 13 plus, absurdly powerful. Compounding is slow. Then suddenly it's unstoppable. Your money starts making money. Your money's money starts making money. Your portfolio becomes a snowball rolling down a mountain with no brakes. But here's the cheat code. Compounding only works if you stop interrupting it. No pulling money out. No panic selling. No, "I need this for a new car." Compounding is a jealous beast. It only rewards the faithful. And once compounding kicks in, you enter an entirely new financial reality. And guess what? Step 8 is where that reality becomes your new baseline, and you officially move into the strategy level of wealth building, because steps 1 through 7 built your engine. But step 8 is where you finally start steering the vehicle with power, clarity, and confidence. Step 8, build multiple streams, but the right way. Look, in my personal opinion, here's the part everybody gets wrong. When people hear multiple streams of income, they immediately turn into hyperactive squirrels. Should I start a business? Launch a side hustle? Flip furniture? Sell feet pics? Become a part-time crypto shaman? Relax. Multiple streams of income is not about doing 57 things at once. It's about building streams in the correct order. Strategically, not chaotically. The rich follow a simple rule. You build one strong stream first. Then you stack the next one on top, then the next. Like building floors on a skyscraper. People stay broke because they try to skip steps. They want the passive income before they build the active income. They want the freedom before they build the discipline. They want the results before they build the foundation. But the rich know multiple income streams don't make you rich. The order does. And once you have multiple streams flowing, that's when you enter a new dimension of wealth, the level where taxes either become your worst enemy or your biggest financial advantage. Step 9. Use the tax code like the rich, the legal cheat sheet. All right, here we go. Let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, taxes. Just kidding, but we have to talk about it because this is the step that quietly separates the wealthy from everyone else. Here's the brutal truth. The tax code is not written for employees. It's written for owners. Employees get taxed first, then they try to live on what's left. Owners take care of their lifestyle through the business. Then they get taxed on what's left. Huge difference. You don't have to be a billionaire to benefit, you just need to understand the game. Rich people tax advantages include business deductions, real estate depreciation, capital gains over ordinary income, retirement account benefits, home office, equipment, travel deductions, tax loss harvesting, writing off investments and assets. Taxes aren't about getting around the rules. They're about playing the game correctly. The tax code literally rewards behaviors that grow the economy, creating businesses, providing value, investing in assets, producing rather than consuming. If you ignore taxes, you lose money by default. If you master them, you keep tens of thousands more every year. And the money you keep is the money that builds the wealth machine. Now, buckle up, because step 10 is the final evolution. This is where getting rich becomes staying rich, and staying rich becomes easy. Because knowing how to earn money is one thing, but knowing how to protect it is what locks in long-term freedom. Step 10, protect your wealth, the part most people skip. Most people think the biggest risk to their wealth is not making enough money. Wrong. The biggest threat to your wealth is losing what you already have. Getting rich is one game. Staying rich is a completely different one. And this is the step where most people drop the bag because they think more money means more safety. Nope. More money just means more ways to lose it. Rich people protect themselves on every level. 1. Emergency fund, not optional. This is your life will punch me in the face. Savings. 2. Insurance, health, disability, property, liability, boring, but absolutely essential. 3. Diversification. Your money should not depend on one job, one business, one property, or one asset. 4. Legal protection. LLCs, trusts, contracts, asset protection structures. 5. Personal discipline. This is the big one. Avoid debt traps. Avoid stupid spending. Avoid trying to flex wealth instead of build it. Because real wealth isn't loud. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need applause. Wealth is quiet. Flexing is expensive. Stability is the ultimate flex. That's the final step. The step that completes the entire blueprint. Bottom line, this isn't theory. This isn't hype. This is the actual blueprint you follow to get rich, whether you make $40,000 a year or $400,000 a year. If this video gave you the blueprint, comment the words, "I will be rich," so I know you're done playing small. As a matter of fact, if I'm gonna be completely honest, you might actually be richer than you think you are, and I'll explain what I mean in this next video. We break it down in complete detail. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.